Hi there everyone, it is Verity here from inkbutterfly.wordpress.com. Thank you for joining me again today, and we're going to work with Postage for You. It's a cling mount stamp set with some nice sentiments and imagery, and this actually is available in a bundle with a coordinating punch, which is the rectangular postage label stamp punch, I should say. So we're going to be using these things today. So what we're going to do is a bit of colouring with our blends markers. So I'm just going to bring in some of the Whisper White cardstock and some Memento ink. So when we colour with alcohol markers, we will need to use a water-based ink so that we don't smear our line art. Okay, so we're going to do two of the flowers. I want room to punch them out. Okay, and we're going to do two of the birds as well. The lines are a little heavy on the flowers, but I'm sure it'll be fine when it's all coloured. There we go. Really nice crisp images with our cling round stamps. Colours then. Right, so let's go with whatever that is. What's that? I'm just picking them out of my Stampin storage. So this happens to be Old Olive, so I think we will, that will be good for a more vintagey look as well. So, colouring with Stampin blends can be as simple or as complicated as you want it to be, depending on whether you want to do a lot of blending or not. I don't tend to do anything too adventurous, so what I am doing is picking out the bits where I want some shade. So those are along the middle of the leaves. I'm going to colour in the stems as well, maybe the underside of the leaf where it may be in shadow, like so. And then we'll use a light marker to fill in the spaces. Where the two colours meet, they will start to merge together, and that the line between them will begin to disappear. As that alcohol blends them together. Very lovely pens to work with. And of course, as is the Stampin' Up style, everything's been coordinated for you. Right, I'm going to pick out a different green for the leaves on the tree. So this is mint macaron. So again, we'll use the darker marker. Because these are small images, I'm just using the bullet tip to get into those tighter spaces. Just up the middle and along the stems, just like I did with the other one. You could of course use the same one if you don't have all the colours, then just use what you have. So as you can see, I'm not being super careful with it. I'll just put them in the middle, all those lines, just as we did before. Go over the spaces around those edges. And fill those in. So colouring's one of the things that you either love or you hate. Oops. I find it quite relaxing. Just taking my time there. But I say not everyone does, and so if you're a crafter who likes to be able to make something in a flash, this may not be the option for you. You could of course use watercolour pencils. You could not colour it at all. You could leave them monochrome. Okay, so we have foliage. I think I like the idea of having nice vibrant blue flowers, so I'm going to get balmy blue, I think. And exactly as we've done with the leaves, I'm going to fill in parts of those flowers. I may bring in some navy actually, we'll see how it looks. So just a few of those stripes going into the middle. Might just use the brush tip on this to cover the area. So there's the light one. So I wanted these to have quite a bit of definition between the colours. So what I think I'm going to do is bring in my light Night of Navy and add in a bit of that as well, just to give it some depth, and that's made a massive difference to that already. Just here and there. I'll just run over that quickly again with a light marker. There we are. So those are popping far more than they did without the dark colour. So I'm going to put in the dark colour again first. Not too mad, a little bit like so. Then we'll put in some of the dark balmy blue as well. Over the top with the lightest colour. Lovely. Just want to see if we can get some Okay, so that's what they look like up close. Okay, really like that. And now our little birdies. Okay, so what colour can we use for our little birdies? Don't want them too dark, and I may do them slightly different shades to infer sort of girl and boy, if you like. So I think this so this is crumb cake, and I might go with the bronze and ivory for the other one, just as more different. So for these guys, I think what I'm going to do is do the light marker first over their heads and bellies, maybe along the tail, and then come in with the darker one. And then back in with the light, just to soften that transition between the colours there. So just going over where the two meet. It'll look a bit odd to start off with, but once it dries it looks good. Circular motions sometimes help with the blending of the colours. There we are. That one's blended a bit better than that one actually. There we are. It's one of our little birdies. I was just literally, it's just coming to my head that we could have done their little breasts in red, and if we go with a shaded spruce they could easily be little robins for a Christmas card. And then we'll do the crumb cake on the other one. So again, we'll go with the light marker first. So lots of markers going into here. You use what you have, and if you don't have these markers, use one of the other colouring techniques. Instead, I just fancied playing with my blends today. Just making sure that those lids are really on firmly, because I don't want my markers to dry out. So again, just running over that transition where that dark colour meets, and then out the rest, and that will blend that all in. So the little birds are coloured slightly differently, but they don't look unrelated, if you know what I mean. There we are, cute little images. Okay, so the punch is what we need next. And now I'm just wondering whether, oh yeah I have, yeah it's alright. I was wondering whether I'd left enough room around the bottom, and I have. So we're going to punch out these images with this postage label punch. As you can see, there is quite a margin around the image, so just bear that in mind when you're positioning things on your paper. if you're intending on using the punch. Oops, got that on the because of the nature of the images, it's probably not super critical if you get it a little bit off centre. Beautiful crunch. Those that could easily be stencils as well. Okay, so there we are with our 2 birds and 2 might keep that scrap to hand in case the sentiment goes wrong. Okay, now I'm wondering what kind of card base to put these onto actually in my head as well. Because I already have an idea of how the top is going to go, and I was just having a think there, because I was intending on leaving it white, because I do like clean white on white sort of layering. I just wondered whether it would look nice framed in another colour. But so my plan is to use this square of cardstock. This is just Whisper White cardstock, which is that's 3.5. This one is 3.5, so this one is 3 3/8, I think. Yeah, that's right, 3 3/8. Oh, my head just stopped working just for a moment there, and I was like, no, I don't know what that is. Oh, is that too small now? Oh, did I measure that wrong? Because I played about on my grid paper to try and work out how big these would be if I made them into a square, and I've possibly made it a little tight, but I think it just about fits on there, so I can raise it all up. Yeah, so I think they've got to go right in the corners, and then they will look okay, I think. So that's the plan, to do like a topper like that. That one's the wrong way around, I make it like that, don't I? Possibly could have, if I'd done the foliage, it would have looked a little bit more I'm just wondering whether to go over that with the old olive, to be honest, just to pull it in a little bit. It's funny how the creative process, when you have an idea of how something's going to look in your head and somehow or other doesn't quite come to fruition. But I think this might actually do the trick actually. That looks better, I think it looks a little less odd. So we'll pretend we did all the leaves the same colour, which was my temptation, I have to say. I did think, oh, I'll do them all the same, and then I thought, oh no, let's make them different. Should have gone with my gut feeling. So I'm going to use wet glue because I want a bit of manoeuvrability. I don't want to go crazy with the wet glue though. I always worry that it's going to seep through too much really. So just getting that positioned this way there, and this one in the opposite corner. Make sure they're the right way up. I think we, yep. Just having to think whether a coloured image would have been better on this. So I need to decide whether the flowers need to point into the corner or whether they need to point into the middle. I'm not super sure. Just looking up onto my monitor to see how they look from your angle. Not sure it matters, you know. Answers on a postcard. Right, I'm going to go with that way. You're probably all screaming, no, the other way. Just a bit of this, a little bit of an odd void in the middle of this, but I'm not really sure anything can go in the middle of it. Okay, that shouldn't take too long to dry, but while it is, I think I'm just going to run over flowers with the link of Stella. And I think we'll do the birds as well. Love wink of Stella. Glitter without the mess. That's what we like. Okay, there we are. So like I say, the idea was to have a white and white layer, so I wanted to put that onto this piece onto dimensionals, lift it up, and then have that on a card. I have pulled out a white layer, but I don't know whether I need to bring in a colour, to be honest. But I want to stamp a sentiment underneath as well, so maybe I go with a coloured card base and bring it in that way. Just trying to decide. I think, you know, a neutral might be the best way to go with this, and I think some grey granite would be nice behind this, because I've got very earthy tones. So let's go with that. I cut all my card bases on my paper trimmer. So this is a full sheet of A4, which I am cutting along the length at 4 1/8 of an inch. For those of you who do centimetres, that looks like it's about 10.5. Given I grew up doing my maths all in metric. I do card make in imperial. At one point I didn't even know what an inch was. You know, you hear this, what's an inch? And now that I can only really see in inches. And then I'm turning it round and I'm lining that up with the 5 7/8 of an inch, which is just shy of 15 centimetres. So it's probably 14.9 centimetres according to my thingy. I'm sure if you are a metric person, you will have your measurements already planned out. So that's how I score all my card bases. Incidentally, this creates a 10-fold card, which is my preference. If you cut and scored it the other way round, so cut at 5 7/8 and then scored at 4 1/8, you would get a traditional side fold card. Okay, so that's probably dry enough for me to put that onto those layers there. So I'm just going to grab my dimensionals and get that stuck down. I just decided I want it well supported, so I'm going to go a little crazy with the dimensionals. Probably would have just got away with one in the middle there rather than one in the sides, but and I am going to put some glue on this because I want to be able to make sure that that gets layered on. So putting the glue over the top of your dimensionals just gives you just a little bit of breathing space when you're layering things up, especially when that border is only ever so slight. So I'll just layer that up, and I'm just going to put one of my blocks on there very carefully so it doesn't slide about. So I'm just going to give those a few minutes to dry. I'm just considering using one of my slightly smaller card layers, but I think it might be, yeah. So I'm going to swap out my usual card layer, which would be 4 by 5 3/4, and I'm going to use this one, which is slightly smaller, which is 3 3/4 by 5 1/2, so I get more of the grey granite showing around the edge. So we'll use our stamping seal. To put that on. Just need to remember that I've got a wider margin there. Almost tried to stick it down with my narrow margins that I usually use. Like so. So that's stuck down enough to apply to the card. Just be gentle with it. Put my birdies the right way up. And I'm looking to get this side by side, central along the sides. But I've got a slightly wider gap at the top. There. And what we need now is a sentiment. Now I feel like we've got so many layers on there. Do I want another little, I might prefer to have a strip on there to sort of make this a little bit more even. I think that's what we're going to do. But I am just going to use black ink as all the line art's in black. Incidentally, because you need water-based ink to colour with the markers, just bringing that closer to me so I can make sure it's straight. All the classic ink pads are water-based, so you could have stamped the line art in any one of those. Just be sure it is completely dry before you start colouring in. So that's the sentiment, sending love your way, isn't that lovely? And then I want to trim this down. So I'm using the lines on the ruler to help me get an even border top and bottom there. There we are. We can trim down the length. Oh, it's going to come away. And then we're going to use the edges of our dimensionals to stick that on. So really useful, these little edgy strips, exactly for this reason. Do have the foam strips as well, available in the catalogue. So this guy, it's going to sit underneath like that to balance the top and bottom. Like so. And I think some pearls would be beautiful on there. I was just having a think about whether I wanted silver, but I think we'll just go with white. The white pearls can also be coloured with the alcohol markers as well. So if you did want to tie in any of the colours, you could do so. So we're going with the odd numbers are beautiful theory. So we'll go with 5 of these dotted about. So always the trick is where to put them. Just trying to see where my visual triangles were, you see. So there we are. Et voila! So a slightly longer tutorial today, sorry it's a bit long. I wanted to do what? Nice colouring, an experiment with a different layout with that postage stamp punch, and give it some dimension. I think it would have looked just as good actually flat, but you know, I just wanted to try it out, see how it looked. And got the twinkle on there from the wink of Stella as well, which is really nice. Okay, so that's it from me today. I think I've rambled enough at you. As always, links are in the description bar, do check it out. Some likes and subscribes, and I'll see you again soon. Take care everyone. Take care, bye.